Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm out here in the garage working on a couple of guns. I want to give you guys some updates on the two guns I talked about last night and what I have decided to do. I was able to review the range footage on both of the guns that I had problems with. The Bren 10 Marksman Special in 45 and the Smith & Wesson M&P Compact Spec Series, of course in 9mm. I talked about all the problems I had with the sights. So I spoke with both jacks after the video I put out last night, and upon reviewing the footage, when it comes to the Bren 10, I have decided to essentially keep everything that I recorded. And I'm going to share the journey of shooting it, reviewing it, and when the sight comes off, which I was able to capture on camera. It was during the quick magazine change on the very last round. And everything else in that review is actually pretty good. It's pretty much the same comments I had on the Bren 10 in 10mm. Very accurate gun, but I have this problem, but I'll kind of talk about that. But overall, I kind of feel like it's going to be a good range report. There's a couple things about this gun that I was unable to figure out upon doing research. And one of them is what is marked on the slide. On this slide, it's very light, and I'll try to show you guys here. Right here, it says Logan Custom, and it has some type of marking on it. Now, I try to review the guns and look into all the information I can on them. I found out that this version of the Bren 10 is actually pretty darn rare. There were only 250 of these that were made in 45. So to have one of 250 guns made back in the 1980s and a Bren 10 that's kind of a famous gun, chambered in this caliber, it's kind of cool. They did, I guess, have caliber conversions for the 10mm ones, but this is one that was made in 45, one of 250, which should not be confused with the ones in 45 that were made for the television show Miami Vice. It's my understanding that the two that were made for Miami Vice were designed to fire blanks. They weren't originally designed to fire real ammunition. So you guys know how they use prop guns, so they were mechanically a little bit different, and they made two of those, but they made 250 of the ones in 45. But I can't find any information on Logan Special. I was trying to think, well, was it a version of the gun? Was it a custom shop? I cannot figure it out, and I have Googled it. I've looked it up. I've looked on the Bren 10 forums, so I don't know, because it has its own kind of logo on it right here, and this is definitely not engraved or roll stamped on the gun the same way that everything else is. It's obviously something that was done later or by a different company. So I do not know the history on that. But as far as I can tell from pictures, everything on the gun is pretty much the way that it came. I don't know. So I don't know if that was something special, as I said, or maybe somebody who bought this gun had their name engraved, because this little logo that's on the side, it looks like it's kind of a combination of a couple letters, maybe a P and a W, or an X, P, and W. I'll show it to you one more time. Right there. So you can see it's an X on the side, a P on the top, and a W on the bottom. So that could have been somebody's initials they had engraved on this at some point. I don't know. The biggest difference was between this and the one in 10mm is it has extended controls. So the magazine button is definitely further out, and the controls for the safety and the slide release are a lot bigger. But I decided to keep all the range footage on this. In fact, tonight I'm going to try to find a way to reattach the sight. So I got some of my parts boxes out here looking for springs that might work. Somebody in last night's video said, hey, maybe an AR-15 firing pin spring cut down would work and replace that. So I got to figure that out. And then I decided, upon reviewing the range footage on this, I'm just going to go ahead and re-review it, because I talked to Jack and we talked about the sight and the front sight that's not right. So he gave me permission, because I don't ever really want to change the configuration of a gun that's lent to the channel. You know, I always treat every gun with respect and not trying to make it mine, if that makes any sense. But he said, because I had such problems, to remove the rear sight, and he gave me permission to adjust the front sight. So I'm going to do that. So I went into the box, and maybe we'll just talk a little bit while I try to do this. Where did I put the... Oh yeah, it's over here. So I got the other plates out. So I'm going to remove this red dot sight, and hopefully we have the original plate that went on top, which I think is this one because it's curved. And so I may do some cutting in this, where I, cut the video short while I do this if I run out of stuff to talk about. But this is just going to be a video of me out here just working in the garage, getting this thing to be re-reviewed. Let's see here. What do these Allen wrench heads look like? They're kind of small. Did I? No. I thought maybe I'd gotten it on the first try. I just have piles and piles of these Allen wrenches. Every time I get an Allen wrench with something, I just throw it in this box. And I got this, and I got this big tub of them. So often I just have to fish through them and find them. I don't know if the pistol came with it. No, I guess not. So I just got to find one that will work on these. And I found it. Look at that. Second try. Alright, so let's take this thing off. And I'll just put this red dot back into the box. It might have just been installed wrong. I don't know. It looks like, I don't know, maybe there's two different screws attaching this. Maybe there was a mistake on installation. Yeah, so that one's different than this one. So I think that might have caused some issues. But I'll put all that back in the box. And then we got the plate here. So we can take that plate off. Let me grab a cloth here. Now let's put this old plate, or I guess the original one that would have maybe come with the pistol back on it. Yeah, that's the way that's supposed to look there. So let's see. Maybe one of these screws will work. Hopefully. Maybe, maybe not. There we go. Let me tighten this one down, see if that one is maybe too long. It is. Okay. So I hope this isn't going to be a boring video. Let me think if there's anything else that we can talk about while I'm out here. I've noticed that lately it's been quite quiet on the gun politics front. You guys notice that? Okay, these are really short. These should go on like they're supposed to. I've noticed that a lot of the gun politics YouTube channels are just doing their usual breaking news, groundbreaking stuff, and even the ones that in the past I've been real complimentary of not being clickbait, are kind of starting to be clickbait. I guess just because they have to continue working on growing their channel. So now it's groundbreaking news when like an amicus brief is filed in the courts on some case. That's groundbreaking news. I mean, I appreciate them keeping us up to date on everything, but I don't know if all that is that important. All right. Don't try to tighten it down too much, and there we go. So we got the original plate that was on it back on the gun. So now we got to get this front sight moved over a little bit. So put all these plates back in the bag. So I guess reviewing this with the iron sights will be perfectly fine. And I'll make sure to put the red dot back in the case for Jack. Oh wait, that was my Allen wrench. Don't want to put that in there. I'll need that later. What else can we talk about while I'm doing this? I guess, let's see, maybe I want to, I didn't know if I wanted to talk about this. I guess I want to talk about other YouTube channels, but not in any type of disparaging way, because I get asked a lot, do you watch this person or do you not watch this person? And many times when people ask me that question, the answer is no, because I don't really watch a lot of gun YouTube. It might surprise you guys, but I don't. All right, 1 second here. I gotta get my sight adjustment tool, because I was talking with somebody in a comment on one of my previous videos on this channel, and they were asking me about Hickok 45, and I just said, you know, I'm just not a subscriber anymore because his channel doesn't feel genuine. I'm not saying he's not genuine, and I understand the appeal to his personality type and his presentation style to a lot of people, and I used to be a huge fan of his. Like when I first got into firearms, I absolutely just loved his channel. You know, I remember the thing that got me hooked on his channel was when I saw him shoot a 1911 at whatever that longest distance is, from like his porch or something, and he was able to hit that gong at that target. I was like, that is absolutely amazing. And all of his early stuff always felt to me genuine. It was just a guy that was just an amazing shot, just obviously a very nice guy, someone that was you know, super knowledgeable. But over time, it kind of lost that appeal. And I understand, as I said, that everyone and their channels grow, and you kind of have to change things up. In fact, there's a YouTube channel that I follow called Shadiversity, and it's a guy that I guess he's kind of like an expert in like medieval weaponry, like swords and armor and that kind of stuff. And he has a couple million subscribers, and he made a video recently. I guess even YouTube is starting to demonetize and shadow ban channels like that. And I was assuming it was because, you know, all the knife crime and the stuff that's going on in the UK. And maybe they're thinking, oh my gosh, somebody's talking about, you know, medieval weaponry is bad and that kind of thing. All right, but oh yeah, he was talking about how he's had to change his content over time, and how as he got more subscribers, he inevitably changed. His quality got better, or his format changed as he learned, and you know, and I think Hickok 45 did the same thing, but it just evolved into something that I didn't like. But I understand why people still like his stuff. Okay, so let me get this muzzle brake off. Okay, so I took out the two Allen screws on it. I'm assuming it just screws off. I don't know which way. So let's see here. Maybe that way? I think so. I would think it would be righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And there's no other Allen wrenches in that. Okay, so let's see if I can... Oh, man. Okay, it's coming off a little bit. This is the joy of gunsmithing. But I'm assuming this thing is supposed to come off because a bunch of people in the previous comments section were saying how they were able to adjust theirs or theirs came loose. All right, so let me grab it with this and see if I can get it off. All right, well that is definitely on there tight, but now it's moving. So obviously I don't want to damage it or anything, so I got to figure out what to do there. It might be a little bit carbon locked, so I might heat it up and get that off. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and cut the video here, and see what I can do, and I'll come back. So I will be right back when I get this muzzle device off. All right, so I'm back, and what did I learn? Well, I got the heat gun out, and I thought there was just some thread locker on it. Well, there was thread locker, but Smith & Wesson decided to put on what is obviously red Loctite. So I had to get the torch out. Now, this is kind of crazy to put it on this because I really feel like, in fact, it's still a little bit on the hot side here, but they provide a thread protector in the case, so if you take off the comp, you can put on the thread protector because it's just a standard threaded barrel, but you can't get it off, or the muzzle comp, without having to heat it up. So I'm going to clean this up, and it's supposed to be set with the set screws. You shouldn't have to have it on there that hard, but once I heated it up, it came right off with no problem whatsoever. I'm just waiting on it to cool off. So I'm going to clean all of this up, because it would be nice if you had the gun to go between the comp or the threaded barrel, and with these set screws, you don't have to worry about using thread locker. So maybe because people were complaining about the comps on these guns coming off and being loose from the factory, maybe Smith & Wesson put on red Loctite. If I was going to put on anything, I'd put on blue Loctite, not red Loctite. So I'm just going to wait for that to cool off, and I'll clean that up and put it back together. But then I put the slide here in my little adjustment tool, and this should be really easy to adjust this front sight. I mean, like super easy. In fact, I'm moving it right now because this thing was way off. That's looking a lot better. Maybe just a little more. It barely had to move. Well, it was a lot, but it moves kind of easy here in this dovetail. Oh boy, that looks pretty close. Maybe just a little more. I think that's it. Yeah, we're going to go with that. Okay. So now, this front sight should be adjusted. And then that means this gun will be ready to go back to the range and be reviewed properly. Yeah, there we go. Maybe it still needs to go just a little bit more, but that, let's see if I can adjust my camera here so I don't get all that bright light there. But that is looking a lot more even, straight on that slide. So there we go. That looks 150% better. I cannot believe they did not put that on straight at the factory. I am very disappointed with Smith & Wesson. All right, I can finally touch that thing. So I will essentially put this all back together, clean it up, and get it back to the range. And now you can get that muzzle comp off. Okay, so I have this gun pretty much ready to go back to the range and review. So thank you, Jack, for letting me do that to it. So let's put all of this to the side. All that down there. And now let's take a look here at the Bren 10. I was going through my parts earlier looking for a spring I could cut down and replace the one that flew off. Looking here at my camera here, looks like, hold on, I'm going to clean the lens because it looks like it's a little bit foggy. Here we go. Let's see if that's any better. That's a lot better. Okay. So, yeah, see, this is like super behind the scenes, boring stuff tonight. All right, so that's a lot better. All right, so I think I found a couple of springs that might work if they're the right size diameter-wise. This is from an AK-47, and I think that's going to be, in fact, it does go over the little nipple right there perfectly. Like it fits right in there. Now I would just have to cut that down to length. So that, I think, would be a good replacement for that spring on the back. So let me get something to cut that with. One of the best things you can do is whenever you finish a gun project and you got parts laying around, just put them into a bin. Try to mark them, because I know this is like AK parts. All this stuff was originally with like triggers and so forth. Maybe there's an HK, well, there's an HK drum sight in there, but all the other stuff is AK parts. So this is obviously from something I had that I did with an AK. So, all right, so let's cut this down. Let's see if I can cut it with these wire cutters. Here we go. That might be too long. Maybe. Let's see. Put it in here. Oops. Yeah, that's going to be too long, but it's definitely the right diameter. Yeah. All right. So now I just got to cut that even shorter if I can. It is a pretty stout spring. Well, let me see if I can do that any better here. That might give me what I need. So, that's pretty small and short. That's what she said. All right, so let's see here. Yeah. Oh, that's going to fit. Okay. So now I think all I got to do is find the Allen wrench for these rear sights. Because I'm pretty sure it's an Allen wrench, and it is small. Nope, even smaller. Smaller still. And that's too small. I said in last night's video, I thought it was a roll pin, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Oh, here it is. Okay, so let's tighten that down a little bit. Let's tighten this one down a little bit. Ooh. I think I have fixed the gun for Jack. Okay. Maybe. If I can just get it to go into the side of the sight. There it goes. All right. So it just needs some adjustments now. But there we go. I got the rear sight back in. And I could use the Allen head wrench or the screw in the front. I can adjust the height now of this. And I can adjust the windage on the side. So there we go. I fixed it. Yay. Yay for me. So this gun will get its proper range report tomorrow. And I'm going to take the Smith & Wesson back to the range and review it right. Instead of just having the sights off the entire time and just not where they should be. So anyway, that's what's going on. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for joining me here in the garage. And this is how I work on guns, fix guns. And now I just got to clean this thing up, but that's super, super boring. Put it back together and get it back to the range. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys tonight. And you guys saw me, I guess, troubleshoot a problem with the Bren 10 rear sight. So, I guess the word of the day would be, gotta think about this one. Well, I did sights last time, so why don't we do fix? Because I fixed the sights. So fix is the word of the day. So if you watch to the end, use the word fix in your comment. And I know you watched to the end, and this was a super boring video, guys. I am so sorry, but some people like this stuff to join me here in the garage, but this is what it takes to run a YouTube channel and to get guns back in working order. So, as always, thanks for watching.